Hey Internet, what's up? It's me, lo-fi musician and producer, Blue Sirens. And today I want to talk to you about the importance of being an individual and understanding your individuality as an artist. Now, it's kind of a roundabout way that I came across this thought. I came across it by watching this show called Invincible Fight Girl. If you haven't seen it, it's on HBO Max or Max, and it's a great show. It's animated in a similar style to what I think like the modern Scooby-Doo shows were kind of like. So it's not really an anime, but it's an anime show. It's not drawn from a manga as far as I know. But in the show, there's a main character named Andy who wants to become a wrestler, and she tries so hard to emulate and perform a wrestling move of a wrestler that she admires. She even tracks down this wrestler and says, "Train me, I want to be just like you." And in the most recent episode, she is this close to discovering the move that she's been practicing for a week or two. Non-stop, 8 hours, 12 hours a day, just trying to practice that one move to master it. And at the very end of the episode, she's told, "You're not like that person. You're trying to be like them, but you're never going to be exactly like them. You are who you are, and you need to perform this wrestling move in the way that only you can perform it." And it clicks in her head that she has to stop trying to copy that person and maybe just take some of the techniques she's learned from that wrestler, from trying to learn this move, but make it her own. And that's what she does. She takes those techniques. It looks like she's about to perform the exact same move she's been doing the entire time that hasn't been successful, but then at the very end, she puts her own twist on it and makes it her own, and it's extremely powerful. And this got me thinking that I think that's something we've kind of lost, or we don't really talk about too much as an artist, or for musicians, or just in art in general. I think we do talk about it, but maybe not the importance of it, or maybe from this perspective, because everyone kind of says you should figure out, your voice and how you're going to be an individual, but it doesn't necessarily, I think, click for a lot of people how to do that, or what it means to do that, because we kind of just see all these examples of what people have done in the past, and we see things that our heroes or idols have done, and we try and emulate those as much as possible because that's what we think is good, is their music, and we want to write music like them because it's music that we like. It's good music. But that little extra mile, that little extra 5% that is us, is the hard part of it. And I think the best way to understand how to find your voice is just play around. You don't need to emulate or be that person 100% of the time. You're definitely going to learn music that your idols have written, but there's nothing that can stop you from just spending 30 minutes a day saying, "I'm going to write, 4 parts of a song or 4 different songs, and it's just going to be whatever I want it to be. I'm not going to have a reference track. I'm just going to sit down and write." And I think through this, you can find your voice because you can start to see those individual things that are unique to you across those 4 songs. Now, those might just be unique for those situations because you're just writing the songs to write. There's no goal, there's no other collaborators. If you are writing with a band, you might be trying to just find your voice as a drummer or a guitarist. And all that kind of goes back to, finding your voice through the techniques that you like, that you're gonna discover from doing these 4 songs in those 30 minutes, or those 4 little riffs in those 30 minutes. But as an artist as a whole, if you're a producer or you're trying to write the entire song, that's a little bit tougher too, because you have to think of everything in the song: the transitions, the chords, the melodies, the Foley, the background, the pads. There's a lot to think of it going into it. And so I think it's more beneficial to focus on just one thing at a time. As you're building out a song, focus on, how am I going to make this part of the song or this element of the song be my voice? If you only have that one instrument, how are you going to make it be your voice? And some instruments maybe don't have the best ability to say, I'm expressing myself through it. But I think as you layer those in the song, you'll start to see those things. So if you like to have sudden drops out of the song for like pads to emphasize certain notes, or if you write your melody first and you say, I want everything else in the song to support the melody in some way, then it's going to come through as your voice and your individualistic style. Now, the hardest part of those things is making sure your melody isn't emulating somebody else. There are definitely artists out there that they write in a specific key or in a specific mode, and so if you just write in those modes, it's hard not to sound like that artist because that's kind of like all they do. But you can find ways to maybe take things that your favorite artists, your idols, have done and switch them up a little bit to be more of your voice. And that's, again, going to go back to spending 30 minutes a day trying to write 4 different riffs, 4 different songs, something that's compact enough to where you can draw out elements of who you think you are as an artist and who you want to be, and then combine them back with all the other aspects of a song and everything else that you're working on. And that's tough. And I would definitely recommend writing some of these things down because you might forget them, better record them. But if you can write them down and you can see them, then you're going to be able to reflect on them and go back to those ideas again and again and again until you feel like, okay, you found your voice. And these things may not be something that's like really concrete. It could be something really small, or just how you play a note, or how you bend a note, or a plugin, or something that you think is like that's the style or that's the sound that you want to have as an artist going forward. And it's okay to have some of these elements just be for one song, and then you can see how you can expand them in different ways into other songs. And that's a great way to also expand your voice and your style. But you'll see over time there are certain things that are just you, but it takes a while of writing and practicing to figure out what is you and who you are as an artist. So if you don't know who you are as an artist, if you don't know what your voice is or what your signature is for a song or for a style, now's the best time to start. Dedicate 30 minutes a day for the next upcoming month to try and figure out, how can I figure out what my voice is? And again, these don't have to be full songs. They don't have to be anything that you carry into a future project. It's just 30 minutes of you sitting down and writing something with no goal in mind. Just writing whatever comes to you, whatever sounds good. And if you end up using it, great. But overall, we're just trying to find what are some common tendencies or common elements that stand out to you that you want to keep carrying on into other songs. And you might find that there aren't any, and that's totally okay. Because then you can say, well, I don't have a skill in playing the guitar or the piano or an instrument in a specific manner. And you can then create a learning path or a research path on how to improve in those areas. So overall, it's just a learning experience. That's what most of life is, just a learning experience. So get started. No better time than now. But what do you guys think? Have you found your voice as an artist or as a musician? How'd you find it? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know if you think my tips are going to help you or others in their quest to find their individual voice as an artist or musician. Thanks.